Hello Man United fans. Welcome to Manchester United news. Bruno Fernandes insists Manchester United can be very happy with their performance despite conceding 2 cheap goals to Nottingham Forest. United came from behind to defeat Steve Cooper's side after a disastrous start to the match that saw the visitors score twice in the opening 4 minutes. Taiwo Awoniyi scored after a breakaway from a United corner after 2 minutes, and in the blink of an eye, they were 2 down when Willy Boly headed in from a free kick. Christian Eriksen finished well to grab 1 back before half-time, and shortly after the break, United were level when Casemiro finished from a well-worked set-piece routine. Forest's hopes were dashed when Joe Worrell was shown a straight red card for a tug on Fernandes, and shortly after, the United captain completed the comeback with a well-taken penalty. Speaking after the match, the Portuguese midfielder gave his verdict on the performance and named United's composure as their key ability to secure the 3 points. It wasn't the perfect start for us, but we kept control, kept the ball, and started doing the right things. They defended well with a lot of players, and it was difficult to get through, but we got the result, and that's the most important thing. I knew we had time to change the situation, but we kept calm. We started to keep the ball at the back and gain confidence, and after that the game was always on our side. We created a lot of shots in the first half. Overall, the performance was really good, apart from those first 4 minutes. In similar news, it has been reported that Erik ten Hag didn't want to take any risks with Raphael Varane after the Manchester United centre-back complained of an injury during the win against Nottingham Forest. Varane has battled against injuries during his time at United and Ten Hag felt it was safest to withdraw him, and United are now waiting to see just how bad the problem is. Victor Lindelof came on to replace Varane during the comeback success, with United rallying from 2-0 down inside 4 minutes to win 3-2. Varane is the latest United player to pick up an injury at the start of this season, and while United wait to see the extent of the issue, it could have a bearing on Maguire's future this week. He had complaints. We didn't want to risk him. We have Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof, who could replace him, so we don't take a risk, said Ten Hag. He had complaints, and if it's really bad I don't know, we have to wait. Despite the dreadful start and the injury to Varane, United rallied to get a vital win against Forest. Christian Eriksen got 1 back before half-time, and Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes completed the comeback after the break. Fernandes was excellent throughout, and after another week in which his captaincy credentials have been questioned, Ten Hag was delighted with how he used his emotions. In all aspects, he played a very good game at the highest level, keeping calm and emotions under control, using his emotions at the right moment. He was brilliant in attacking, making a difference, so very pleased with his performance. It was another unconvincing win for United, and it's not been a great start to the season in terms of performances, but Ten Hag was happy with the fighting spirit he saw today. It's a horror start giving them 2 goals and making mistakes, but I'm very pleased with the comeback, he said. The leadership, how we stayed calm and composed, stick to the plan and belief and turnaround. We played very good football, out of the plan and principles and rules we scored good goals. Every team in the start has areas they have to improve, and we have some. We have to progress there if you want to be successful, but you see this team as big characters, big personalities, there's big spirit in this team energy, they found a way to win. In a new development, reports say that Dean Henderson is to undergo a medical ahead of a move to Crystal Palace. United have allowed the England international to travel to London to finalise the details of his departure to Selhurst Park, despite ongoing talks with Palace over whether the deal will be a loan or a permanent transfer. United value the 26-year-old at £30 million and were hoping to sell him to Nottingham Forest after allowing him to spend last season at the City Ground on loan. Palace have not closed the door on a permanent deal, but could look to arrange a loan with an obligation to buy next summer. Eagles director of football Dougie Freedman was at Old Trafford when Henderson was an unused substitute in United's 3-2 comeback victory over Forest. United have already lined up Turkish international Altay Bayindir as a replacement after agreeing a deal with Fenerbahce. Altay Bayindir flew to England on Saturday to seal his imminent move to Manchester United. The Fenerbahce goalkeeper has been chosen to succeed Dean Henderson, with a £6 million fee agreed, and Bayindir having already undergone pre-medical checks in Greece on Tuesday to assess the seriousness of a back issue. 25-year-old Bayindir appeared to wave goodbye to Fenerbahce supporters on Thursday night, as he watched from the bench whilst his teammates smashed Twente 5-1 in the Europa Conference League playoffs. The Turkey international will challenge Andre Onana for the number 1 spot. Bayindir played 40 times in all competitions for Fenerbahce last season, but the Turkish club have a ready-made replacement. Dominik Livakovic, Croatia's keeper during their run to the semi-finals of the World Cup, completed a move from Dinamo Zagreb on Friday. On the injury front, Tottenham defender Sergio Reguilon and Marc Cucurella of Chelsea are among the left-backs Manchester United are considering signing before Friday's transfer deadline as cover for Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia, who are on the treatment table. Reguilon, 26, has not played for Tottenham since April 2022 and spent last season on loan at Atletico Madrid. It is understood the Spaniard's salary demands could be too steep. United considered a move for Reguilon 3 years ago but opted to sign Alex Telles instead. Manchester United also made contact with rivals Chelsea earlier this week to inquire about the availability of Marc Cucurella. Reports have it that the Red Devils are interested in a loan deal for the Spanish left-back, 25, but an offer is yet to be made. Cucurella, who joined Chelsea last summer in a lucrative deal worth up to £63 million, has fallen out of favour at Stamford Bridge but excelled for Brighton during his first campaign in the Premier League. With 2 other targets shortlisted, United are in the market for a left-back after Luke Shaw picked up an injury which could rule him out for a number of months, while understudy Tyrell Malacia is also sidelined. Cucurella is contracted to Chelsea until 2028 while Reguilon is tied to Spurs until 2025. United want a specialist left-back who is on the market. In other developments, thousands of Man United fans stay behind at Old Trafford to protest and chant against Glazers. Thousands of Manchester United fans remained inside Old Trafford after the victory over Nottingham Forest to protest against the Glazers' ownership. The demonstration, which was organised by the supporters group The 1958, took place following the full-time whistle on Saturday. While the vast majority of the singing section above the tunnel at the Stretford end remained in place, plenty of fans from other sections of the stadium chose to remain in place to protest. Around 20 minutes into the sit-in, supporters from other sections of Old Trafford moved to the Stretford end to show a united front against the ownership. United fans have taken to protesting again this season after a summer of frustration regarding the takeover. In November, after years of protests, the Glazers announced they had launched a strategic review into their ownership of the club. It was insisted that all options remained on the table, including selling the club entirely. During the months that have followed, 2 contenders have come to the forefront in Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani and Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Sheikh Jassim wishes to purchase 100% of United while Ratcliffe is thought to be offering a 60% purchase which would open the door to the Glazers remaining. However, the Reds fanbase is still none the wiser as to the progress of the takeover. Men's Sport reported this month Sheikh Jassim had become concerned over whether the Glazers would sell United. On the recent preseason tour of the US, reporters asked Avram Glazer in New Jersey for an update on the process but he refused to comment. For now, we are likely to see more protests over the coming season as the 1958 promise their demonstrations will persist while the Glazers remain at the club in any capacity. In concluding the day's news, in his post-match interview versus Nottingham Forest, Erik ten Hag said he believes the bond between Manchester United players and fans is unbreakable despite the protests that continue against the club's owners. At least 7,000 supporters stayed behind after the win against Nottingham Forest to voice their anger at the Glazers' ownership of the club and the lack of progress with a sale, 9 months after the start of a strategic review, aimed at either selling the club or attracting new investment. Those protests came on the back of a thrilling second league win of the season for United, coming from 2-0 down inside 4 minutes against Nottingham Forest to win 3-2. The turmoil United experienced in the early stages led to an excellent atmosphere at Old Trafford and the players were cheered off the pitch before the focus turned to the owners and those protests. They were still going on while Ten Hag conducted his media duties and fans had moved around the ground to gather near the tunnel to protest. Ten Hag was asked about the protests in his press conference and stressed the fans were welcome to their opinion, but he believes the bond that has been fostered between the team and the supporters since he took over will remain strong despite the ongoing anger. What it's about is they are entitled to have that opinion, but the fans and the team is a very strong bond, explained Ten Hag. Throughout my time here, it's got stronger and stronger. Today again we make it stronger because of such a magnificent comeback. We got big support from them away from home, at Old Trafford. It's good to the fight and spirit between us. Fans, have you been satisfied with the team's performance in these first 3 games? Leave your comments below in the comments section. Till next time. Thank you for watching.